For those of you that support me over on Patreon, sorry, my camera's out of whack. What's going on here? All right, hopefully that works. For those of you that support me over on Patreon, thank you so very much for your subscriptions. This is the March Tarotscope for the sign of Sagittarius. Thank you so very much for being patient. I'm sorry I'm running behind on doing these and the Patreon videos for the month of March. The last 2 weeks of February have posed quite a challenge for me, and I'm trying to get caught up. So thank you for being patient. The other signs will soon be to follow. This is for those with a Sagittarius sun, moon, or rising, or heavily placed planets in the sign of Sagittarius. That would indicate like 3 or more planets. So if you've got that, please watch this video and see if it gives you a little insight into what sort of a March you might be having. These are broad spectrum readings intended to reach a lot of different people. So if some of this works for you, great. Utilize it in your life and have a March that fits with this reading. If for any reason it doesn't make sense or doesn't seem to fit, that's okay. It doesn't mean anything's wrong or broken. It just might mean that you might be working on something different at this time, and or it could be the houses that your planets are in. All of that sort of stuff could be affecting your actual reading or your actual life versus this reading. So don't worry if anything's wrong. You just might be working on something different. If things do fit or it does make sense to your life and you decide to utilize, make choices in your life after having watched this video, please know that those decisions are solely your responsibility. Never take anything that I say over that of a professional in the field, like a doctor, a lawyer, or a therapist. Always listen to them first and foremost. And let's get into this reading. Sorry, guys. This is the signifier card for the sign of Sag. What are you doing? Are you okay? Are you okay? Why don't you go? Oh, God, guys. Hold on 1 second. I'm sorry. I don't know if he's going to go for this. I just lay down for it. Let me finish this. I'll show you guys because you guys are sad. Okay. All right, so this is the signifier card. It gives us a little bit of an idea of what the overview might be for Sag this month, something to focus on, or what the theme could be. So let's see what it is. Oh, hey. So we've got go with the flow and benefit, and a benefit may follow. Okay, I see that. Interesting card. It's a lot of blue, which is kind of weird to me. It doesn't necessarily feel fire sign-y in a way, but I don't mind it. I do like those flowers growing behind that sort of, I guess it's a duck, or it doesn't, like the neck doesn't look duckish. It looks kind of crane-ish to me, but those flowers speak to new beginnings to me, growth, new beginnings, beauty, things like that. So I kind of like that, as it says, like go with the flow and a benefit will follow. Is that what it says? And a benefit may follow. So may, it's a possibility, Sag. But you got to go with the flow. You got to kind of like get in there. I kind of feel like Sagittarians, you guys are really expansive and usually pretty upbeat and positive. So it shouldn't be a problem for you to do that. But I wonder if some of this flowing has to do with something that you don't necessarily feel comfortable allowing or moving along with. That might be the blue of this card. We'll see what comes out in the tarot and see if that makes itself more clear in the card. So let's see, what does Sag need to know? Sun, moon, and rising. Okay. All right, so this first card is where you're centered at for the month of March. Do you want some water? Are you okay? Do you want to, maybe you should rest. Come here. Let's put you in here. I know, 1 second, Sag, sorry. Go in here for me. Nope, just stay in there for a minute, you little. Yeah, stay in there and have a little water. We'll bring you over here where we can see you. Okay. All right. So this first card is where you're centered at for the majority of the month. It gives us insight into not only where you're centered at, but what you could potentially be creating for the future. So let's just take a look at this and see what it means. Oh, wow. This is the exact same center that we had for what was it that I just last did? Leo. All my fire signs had this card show up. It's weird. It's like a theme for the fire signs this month. The Four of Swords, but definitely about stability, definitely about the mind or the intellect. It would be about withdrawing, maybe not necessarily like voicing our opinions, not necessarily listening to the opinions of others. This could be about rest, self-care, meditation, introspection, all of those good things. Giving yourself that or making that your main focus and holding true to that. That's going to hopefully allow you to go with this flow. I kind of feel like there is a little bit of this like sort of pulling back or resistance, and that's the blue color here that doesn't match up with the fire energy. I get this funny feeling about this blue color here that it's sort of, there is something to be benefited here. That's these flowers. I know that, but it may not feel like this is the most comfortable thing for the Sagittarians to flow with, right? So this is your focus this month, is keeping your mind clear. I do like that this Four of Swords is air, which is your complementary element to your fire sign of Sagittarius, right? Air feeds fire, so that's going to strengthen you. And the Four of Swords would indicate also a resilience or strength after having taken the rest or the time throughout the month to kind of, not necessarily build yourself back, because I don't know that you have to build yourself back, but it gives you that opportunity to kind of feel refreshed throughout the month so that you're ready to go into April, ready to sort of like, take on any challenges or whatever. Now, the next card is the Foundation card. This card gives me a little bit of indication as to what's going on in the past that allowed for everything to be the way that it is today in the reading. Everything's sort of built upon this card. This card also can be the memory of the past that is sort of holding everything into place. So let's see what that is. So this is the Knight of Cups. Knight of Cups is water. It can indicate an older gentleman, but this being from the past, this could be a sort of a romantic period, somewhere where you were being more valiant, more of service, trying to be diplomatic towards others, trying to bring things like maybe situations or people together from a place of love. It does have a nice feel to it, but I feel like you're not necessarily able to keep this role for yourself in the month of March. That's the Four of Swords retraction, or that hiding, that kind of, here, let me take you and put it outside. Come here, Gus. Come on, buddy. Come on, Gus. Go lay down. Come on, bud. Go on, Papa. Thank you. So we may not be able to feel like we can be that kind of, how do I want to say it? Like, this could be a role of a connector, somebody who's doing for others, being of service to others. This month is for us to be maybe in service to ourselves, or put ourselves first, even if we don't necessarily like that, or that doesn't feel comfortable to us. We're going to have to do that this month to be able to go with the flow, and hopefully these benefits will follow. Now, the above card is your spirit card. It tells me what your spirit or soul is working on and what it might be wanting you to focus on during the month of March. So let's look at this. Oh, wow. So we have the Hanged Man. This is Piscean energy. So the sign of Pisces is associated with the Hanged Man, which is also water. It's interesting that you have the Knight of Cups, which is your foundation, which is this sort of watery, in servitude, romantic, loyal kind of foundation, right? And then we have this indecision of the Hanged Man. It is major arcana. So there is something that's rather profound, or some sort of decision that might need to be made by the Sagittarians this month. Our spirit wants us to do that, wants us to sort of figure out that answer for ourselves. That's why we might have to go inward in that Four of Swords to get our mind clear so that we can move forward. To be honest, that Knight of Cups in the bottom foundation, what is it that we're passionate about, or that we were aware in the past that we were passionate about, or that we loved? Is that the direction we want to move? And have we allowed ourselves to flow towards that or not? I feel like maybe we haven't. That's the Hanged Man that's up in the spirit space. It's time for us to kind of maybe look at that in that Four of Swords introspection and start to figure out, how can we move towards those things that we care about, that we feel emotionally attached to or inspired by, right? The Hanged Man will bring its own sort of spiritual enlightenment from it. So this being in the spiritual space and the sign of Pisces, to me, feels really good. But it might come at a bit of a struggle, or because the Hanged Man can sometimes feel a bit stuck or struggling to find the answer. but you just have to kind of trust that you will, and sort of like maintain that mental space, that clarity, and sort of close out maybe the thoughts or the feelings or the ideas of others throughout the month of March, so that you can get into that awareness or to that decision that you need. I will say this too, we are in Pisces season, so that's kind of interesting too, that you have this in your spirit space. It's kind of in line with the season that you're in. So if you find yourself pondering the more deeper desires of life or your spirit, don't be surprised. You might have to kind of make some decisions around those sort of things, so that you can hopefully move forward in a way that's pleasing to you. Now, the next two cards are what I call the outside influences. These are things that could be influencing you either positively or negatively throughout the month of March. They can be people, events, sometimes things more vague like belief systems or energies. They're having an effect on you. So let's see what they are. So one is, oh, fierce, the Death card. This is, I love when this happens. Okay, so death does not necessarily indicate somebody dying. I mean, it certainly could, but it doesn't have to. The ending of something in a very profound, inevitable way, in a very obvious, sort of like in your face kind of way. It could very well be upsetting, painful, unwelcome, that kind of a thing. But ultimately, death is about transformation. Scorpio is the sign of transformation, and Scorpio is the sign that's assigned to the Death card. It's funny because you have the King of Cups, or sorry, the Knight of Cups, you have the Pisces Hanged Man, and then your outside influence is Scorpio. Lots of sort of weird psychic water sign energy around you this month. And again, I told you that the blue of the water felt uncomfortable to me, Sag. So if you're up in your feels this month and you're trying to maintain it by keeping a clear mind and staying to yourself and not voicing it, I wouldn't be surprised, because that's kind of the vibe that I'm getting with these cards. But this Death card is going to come to each and every Sagittarian a little bit differently, but it will be something that will be permanent, inevitable, probably stark change. It may not feel in the moment like it's changed for the better, but ultimately death really is a process we all have to face, and it is something that none of us can escape, and it is something that usually ushers in the transformation of something new. So have faith that if you do find yourself going through something emotional or experiencing something that, you know, transforms or changes in a way that affects you emotionally, it's not going to permanently feel that way. I want you to know that, okay? The next card is the Ten of Wands. This is fire sign, which is a fire energy, which is your guys' element. So I don't mind this. I feel like this is beneficial and there to help you, but this is about letting go of a burden, reaching a finish line, coming to an end after a long, hard journey. There's a decision here that needs to be made for my Sages. Like I said, it's up there in that Hanged Man. It's a very important decision. For some of you, I'm going to say this could be around, you know, like I said earlier, what it is that we love, that we care most about. That Knight of Cups is kind of driving us, right? It's that idea of what are we emotionally attached to? What do we love? For some of you, this could be a job. For some of you, this could be a partner. But the endings that we see in that Death card, and the sort of the completion that we see in that Ten of Wands actually works in our favor, right? It helps us to let down the burden. It helps us to acknowledge the work that we've put in or that we've been through thus far. And it's time to kind of let it go and sort of allow it to sort of transform, to release the burden. So opportunities for us to close up chapters and understand, like, to be okay with that, I feel like is what's going on here. The Death card doesn't necessarily feel about the okay, but the Ten of Wands does. Does that make sense? So it being Wands and it being a 10 says to me that even if it is stark or upsetting or unexpected or, you know, unsettling, I think that's going to be there to sort of help you, Sagittarius. Like, it's going to be there to kind of help you to understand where you're moving towards now as this transformation takes place. I hope that makes sense. The next card is the potential outcomes for the month of March for you guys. It could be, this is potential in the sense that it's where things are naturally heading, barring that nothing major changes. But if this is a negative card, we can make choices and changes through free will to avoid this as the outcome, right? But if this is a positive card, we can take heart in the fact that we're naturally heading towards this outcome. So let's see what this is. And this is the Lovers. Sign of Gemini, which is also air, which feeds fire, which is Sagittarius. I like this. To me, I'm going to say this. I do see a story here. I feel like, and I'm trying not to read too much into it, but I do feel like there might be some Sagittarians that are sort of trying to move towards love, and you might need to allow certain things around you to transform and change so that you can do so. These cards look a little bit conflicted, certainly with that Hanged Man up there, but all of this emotional sort of watery energy in Death, the Knight of Cups, and the Hanged Man, that Pisces energy up in the spirit space make me think that this could be about how you feel and what you feel towards and what you like sort of love or care about. The Lovers as the outcome for the end of the month to me speaks to that no matter what you guys do and what you experience, whatever losses you might kind of have or go through, and whatever burdens you're able to let down or finish out, like whatever work that you've been working on, you're going to be able to come to an end with it, or a completion with it, and in doing so you will feel complete, or more complete. You will feel the benefit of the Lovers by the month's end. All of this is ultimately hopefully leading you back towards that goal or that desire that Knight of Cups has in the foundation, that idea of being emotionally connected and of service, and maybe doing the right thing for yourself. Maybe is all. It might only just be doing the right thing for you or what it is that you want, but that Lovers card indicates that you very well may get there, and I hope that's the case. That's what it says. Go with the flow and a benefit may follow. So if we lose stuff through that Death card, or we have to drop some burdens through that Ten of Wands, go with that flow and make those decisions, even if they feel hard or confusing, or there's some sort of enlightenment and some sort of awareness, but it's going to lead you to that benefit, and that benefit is the Lovers card. I hope that makes sense. So I think that you will be by month's end in a place where you understand a little bit better and a little bit more complete, and feel like you've made the right decision, that you've moved in the correction, and that you feel a little bit more for the month's end, even if you don't feel that way all the way through the month, or if you feel challenged throughout the month. That is your forecast for the month of March. Again, thank you for being so patient. Please hit the thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel if you feel so inclined. I look forward to seeing you guys next month, and have a great March. All right, take care. Bye-bye.